Hey, it's Zooks, and this is Let's Play Satisfactory. And welcome back to the Pioneer Orientation and Optimization program. This might look a little bit different. This is obviously not satisfactory. This is my spreadsheet for my starter base. I wanted to share what's going to be going on with my starter factory. We're about to go turn it on. And I'm going to run through the whole factory, just like checking on all the splits and all the rates and make sure I didn't put the wrong belt somewhere, but I've almost certainly done that. We'll see. But I wanted to show you the process I use for planning out the factory. It's super important. I don't have a lot of time. Basically what this is designed to do is it's designed to, while I'm in game, I don't have to spend a huge amount of time trying to figure out all the intricacies of what I can make. It makes it more efficient using my time in game. So this is it. I'm going to link this, and that way y'all can look at this too. This is if you followed me before, you know that I have a spreadsheet tutorial already up, but I've since improved this spreadsheet, and naturally you might be interested in this version of it. So let's walk through the spreadsheet first. I put up here at the top left what factory is the sheet on. That's good for if I have to link it to another factory, another tab, I can link it here. But here, obviously, we got our resource. This is probably better to put recipe, actually. Our building that's being used, what clock speed, the megawatts for the base megawatt usage for the building here, and then the power after, to include the overclocking or underclocking. And then here is where we have changes in parts/resources. This top section, so if you see these lines, this is a group section, so I can take that top part out, and then now it shows it again. So it's still there, it just hides it. This top part is a bit of a unique part to the rest of the spreadsheet, and it's that there's no automatic formulation here. This is stuff you have to know. By the way, I make little notes to say what nodes I'm using, so that way I don't try to double plane for using a node. But yeah, let's go through here. I show that we have 4 iron nodes to use, and we pull 270 from each node. And copper we're only using 150, and then limestone 270 and coal 245. Now this has to get pulled all the way from the northwest Rocky Desert. We are currently in the southwest, so we end up having to truck a bunch of coal all the way across the desert on camels. Let's see here. So this is where we get a little bit more of an automated thing going on here that I've added. You'll see a complicated formula up here. What this does is this cell and all these cells read whatever I type here, and it goes and it finds a recipe that matches this exact spelling, and then it returns the value of said resource from above. So, and this is a great time to show you the other important part of this, and this is our recipe spreadsheet. This is all the recipes in the game. Now, I don't want to spoil too much down here, but we have all the recipes in the game here. And so this is where you can kind of check to make sure that you've spelled something correctly. It also, over in our spreadsheet, this is an automated thing too. It tells you exactly what building this recipe uses. So all of this is automatic, basically. The only thing you manually put here is the clock speed. And obviously, if I change the clock speed, you'll see I'll change the amount of resources I use for the clock. Obviously, this was 250. But all these cells do this, and so all it does is it finds this recipe and it says how many of this resource up here is being used. So I've put in iron ingots. We use a bunch of iron ingots, obviously. This is a starter factory. It uses a ton of basic parts, so that's what this is. And so I can tell that I got to 15 iron ingot production, 15 smelters, and all of them are clocked to 250 except for this one, which is 100. And I don't know if I'm going to go section by section here. You get this. I kind of really want to just show you how you can do this yourself. There's really two methods of doing this that I've been able to find to figure out. But what we'll do, I just want to sort of scan through this so y'all can see these numbers for yourself. And I wanted to show you the spreadsheet, and then we're going to work through our own, right? I also put some stats here. This is stuff that like total output and stuff like that. It totals again at the bottom. And then obviously this is the power. This doesn't include things like truck stations and lights and such. So not totally perfect here. I write notes like plans and stuff I have here. Like if I have different lines and stuff. So let's do a quick tutorial real quick of how you can do this yourself. I've made a template sheet here. This is for you to use. I want y'all feel free to use these and copy them, and I'm going to show you how you can do this yourself. So you don't want to immediately use the template. You always go and duplicate the template. And so what let's say I'm going to start this one's going to be there's two methods. So we're going to do, I don't know what I should call this one. Let's say the fixed input method. Let's do that, right? I'm not going to be able to type. I got my mic right here. Methpod. Yep, that's it. Okay. So let's say I have, so I'm using the copy. Don't ever use the template. You can also, if you double click this, you can name it. So we'll just say, let's do start, or I'll just do test, right? And let's say I want to make a production line out of a single iron node. Okay. And the iron node is pure. So I'll write something like iron pure, and you'll notice here that I still get all these errors. That's because I have not figured out a way to do the recipes to give me the right, to feed me that right information. So this is something you're definitely going to be doing manually. So take this, and you're going to write miner mark 3. This is the only part, error. This is actually 2 here. And then we'll do a clock speed. We can only handle 270. So what's 150 get us? I don't know. Let's write iron ore. And like I said, you're going to have to get rid of all this for this. This is only for the miners. Okay, so anything that's a miner, like that has different purity of nodes, you have to do this manually. Like water extractors, it's not like this. If I typed in water extractor here, water extractor, it defines a formula here. I can type water here, and then it gives me, it reads the water. I can say 100, I should get 120 water, right? So it just doesn't work with the miner. So I know that I'm going to get 270 because I have Mark III belts. I'm going to get 270 out of an iron pure node. You have to know that if you're going to do this. So it won't be automatic here. So with obviously I got to turn the iron into iron ingots. So I'll put iron ingot. And obviously we have, this was at 0. So if you think, oh no, I've done something wrong, it's because you got to put a clock speed in. And then, by the way, I made it so that you're only really ever typing in the yellow cells, okay? And then you type the part. If you're confused about maybe the spelling of a part that I put in here, all you have to do is find it here. This is, it reads it straight from this line. So iron ingot would be this. There's some weird ones where like I don't put like dashes because I don't like dashes. I don't know. Let's see. So obviously it's working here. It's still got some errors, so you're not going to get this perfect. But you just copy, if you just copy this here, and then let's put 100. Let's say we're not going to do any overclocking here. You'll see kind of the value of this. You'll see technically every time I add this, you'll see that I take out 30 because our recipe calls for 30. And I get this many ingots. But it looks like, we are negative iron ore, which means we don't have enough. So we have to get rid of 2 of these. So let's just make these 0 for now. So now that's good. Look, all I've done is just copy this and just paste it. So if you select this, Control C, and then you click and drag in these cells and type Control V. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up. You got to be careful about how you insert cells in this spreadsheet. The inserting a row is not too bad. Just click. We're going to insert here because this is where this set of production stops. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to drag. We're going to give us some space here. It don't matter how many you pick. Right click, insert 11 rows above. You can only do that with rows. You can't do that with, you can't do that with these because you'll start inserting and changing this stuff down here. With these, you click from this cell at the top to this cell right here. And then you right click insert cells and shift cells right. We're not going to do that right now because we're all right. And then also to just copy, you click the row, Control C, and then click the next row, Control V. You can even just do this, and you just click. No big deal. Let's get rid of these. Are we good here? We've made 270 iron ore. Now I'm calling this fixed input the fixed input method because you start with the amount of resource you have to use. Okay, so I want to make some iron plates, right? Let's make iron plates. That didn't change anything because I haven't put a clock speed in. And you'll notice I only get one part of this recipe. That's because I don't have any iron plates in here. This is important to note too. You have to understand what parts get used in the recipe so you can add them up here. If let's say I did the reinforced iron plate and I put it in here and then I forgot to say put screws and I just put reinforced iron plate and forgot to do screws, then I will this will not work because it does not include the screw production. You're going to miss it. So I'm going to actually copy this here and put this here because let's say I do want to make some reinforced plates. Let's see. I want to make reinforced plates. Let's make some rotors. I'm just going to start putting some of this stuff in here. I know all the stuff that we got, so let's do iron rods, screws, and then reinforced. I should have just copied this. Reinforced iron plate. And you'll know if you missed something up because you'll see that the cells down below they still show an error. Rotor and then modular frame. And why not? We'll do smart plates. Smart plate. See, look at that. Is it smart plates? Smart plating. There it is. See how that fixed it? Let's get some stuff added here. Iron plates are a little low. Let's start at the bottom. Why not? Smart plate. Smart plating. We'll add 100 here. And then modular frames. Modular frame 100. So it looks like we're short 2 rotors. Let's add a couple rotors. See if we can get enough here. Yep, still positive down here. Let's make some. I'm going to copy this and we'll do that down here. I'm going to get rid of that. No clock speed. Are we good? We need another reinforced iron plate because look, we're at 0. I kind of want to be able to make some and stockpile some of that. Screws. We could do a screw recipe. So let's see. If we do screw, you'll see that I take from iron rods and I make screws. But I don't want to use this recipe. It's obviously not as good as the cast screw. And and obviously I put the recipes in here as their alternative names. So steel rod and steel cast plate. By the way, anything highlighted yellow is an existing recipe that was changed in 1.0, and anything orange is a brand new recipe. I did that when 1.0 launched. So we're doing good. We need way more screws. So if I can just control C here, and this will copy my, I clicked and dragged to select all these cells. I just hit Control C. I'm going to Control V until I get to enough here. Let's do one more. 50, 50, there we go. 30. That's enough. I could even underclock this a little bit. Let's do 50 here. I don't need to save 30 screws a minute. 5 will be fine. Now I got to make some rods. I'm going to click here and do the same thing again. We're going to insert some rows. And you want to, when you first insert your rows, you want to copy and paste this whole row so that you get these formulas correctly, right? Boom. So all these formulas are now dragged over correctly. Let's go back down. We got our totals down here, so we want to work from here. Iron rod. Make this 100. And I think we just do this 2 more times, and we've completed our iron rods. It looks like we're good on ingots still, though our plates are going to be pretty expensive. Let's do that for plate. 1 more plate. Oh, we're getting there. I actually might change this back to 100 so we get a little bit more of an even number here. And yeah, it looks like I could increase some of this. What do I need a lot of? Reinforced iron plates? Let's make an additional set of reinforced iron plates. Excuse me. I do need to make another cast screw, so right click, insert. Looks like we're now at 20 screws. And our iron ink, oh, this is perfect. All right, iron plate, boom. We have used up all our iron ingots, and we now make all our basic parts. And that's on a spreadsheet now. So now I know exactly how much to use, what I need to build. I need to build, 9 smelters. I need to build 14 constructors and 6 assemblers. Now this is, I'll say, part 1 of planning the spreadsheet, planning a factory. I'll show you that after I illustrate this next method. So let's change this to, this factory is changing now to a fixed output method. Methpod. There you go. So we're going to undo all of this. So let's say I need to make a factory. So the last factory we did, we basically started at 270 iron ingots, or iron ore. And we decided we want to fully utilize as much iron of that as we could. That's our fixed input. In this section, we're going to start at the bottom here, and we're going to set an amount to produce, and then form the factory around the amount for the most for that part. So let's say smart plating, right? I want to make 5 smart plating. This is actually a little bit of a spoiler for my soon-to-be space elevator factory. I want to make 5 of every space elevator part a minute. So this is how I would plan for that. So here, we actually don't need modular frames here. You'll see that we needed reinforced iron plates and rotors. So I'll set this amount now that I'm making 5 a minute. I see I'm low on rotors and I'm low on, you can delete these rows too. Right click, delete row. So let's look at our rotor. Rotor, I think, makes 4 minutes. So we're going to need another rotor production. Let's just replace this. And it makes 4 a minute at 100%. So one thing you can do here, if you click here and you take this output here, and then you divide this by our 100% clock amount, 4, and then you delete this, and it'll give you a percentage that you can put in to then fill this requirement. So it's saying to produce one rotor a minute, I take this 4 that I'm producing a minute and multiply it times 25%. So now I put 25% in the clock, and I'm at 0. And you can do this with the other cells too. We have to do the reinforced iron plates too. But it's at 5. I don't have to do anything with that one. But that's a nifty thing you can do. I was going to put that on every cell, but it's not it. There's a reason that you can't do that. So we're not going to need anything but 1 reinforced iron plate because we've filled our requirements for reinforced plates, but you see we now need rods, plates, and sprues. Let's add cast screw down here. And we're going to just basically fill up cast screw. Now here, it's the same situation. We make 50 at 100%. So let's take this 35 and divide it by, not 35, but 50. So now I know to take this cell and put it at 70%, and I'll get exactly the right amount of production. Iron rods. Let's do iron rod. Iron rod. I think these make 15 a minute. So I'm going to do the same thing here. 15 a minute we're going to be going over. So let's divide this by 15. And you'll see we get the repeating 6. Oh, I did that on cast screw. I need to copy that. Here, I'll show you what I did. I saw it just changed my screw, not my iron rod. So that's because this recipe is here. So if I copy that and put it there, boom, I've met my requirement. And then plates, we actually can do this, I think, in 2 plates. Iron plate, I know these stinking recipes like the back of my hand, so we'll need another plate. So let's control copy, paste, and then we'll do this at 50. And you'll see now we're here. And I like to do it all the way to the ore. So let's make, let's get our iron ingots. In fact, I'm going to delete all of these that we're not using. We're not using these. So we're done with that. Let's put our iron ingots in here. And I'm just going to put 100 up until I start seeing us, right here. We're making 30. Let's see what this is divided by 30. Oh, a nice even number. 87.5. 87.5. All right. And that's it. That's how you do your fixed output. So I know now all I need if I want to achieve 5 smart plating a minute is to put, if I make this factory and then just bring in 116.25 iron ore, I'll produce my 5 smart platings. And this spreadsheet is made to do all sorts of stuff. So it goes all the way to say fuel. I have fuel, like if we put, I believe it's heavy oil residue. In fact, I might have actually shortened this. Let's see. Yeah, I think I just put 4. Yeah, that did it. And then I think it's just, yeah. So you can do this with like advanced recipes too. But again, you got to know what goes in and out of it to use this. So yeah, those are the 2 methods for making your spreadsheet. With this spreadsheet, all I did was I did a fixed input. And I had another little rule here. I wanted to be able to sync stuff from a bin and not like back up my production. So I was aiming for 210 items a minute, because then if I did a sync bin with 60 items a minute, I would never overload a 270 belt. So I was aiming for a production of 210, and I made this before 1.0 came out and they changed a couple recipes. So I'm technically making 4 more, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to be a big problem. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to show you for the spreadsheet. This is, again, the spreadsheet and the method you use is only part 1 of your factory planning. This is all well and good, but knowing how to get all these ingots to all these buildings for production is a whole nother story. Like these, right? If it's 75 and 75, that's pretty easy. So this next part, I'm going to show you how I draw out the planning for the lines. And I drew this up on a sheet of paper. So here's an iron smelter. And it's shorthand. And I haven't figured out a good way to do it on a spreadsheet. My brother had a good way of doing it. I haven't been able to replicate that yet. And so I'm still using pen and paper here. But as you can see, you start, I have this separated by 2 floors, floor 1, floor 2. And then here we got 270 iron ore. If you remember on our spreadsheet, we get 4 lines of 270 coming in. And then here we got 15 smelters. So I've decided to put some smelters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because if you take basically what you're doing is you're playing a game of divide this number and add this number to, like, to see if you can't split up these amounts to get a perfect flow. Now, I'll say this. This is an argument in the way you do this belting is you can either manifold this stuff or you can load balance. This is what load balancing looks like. I like load balancing. Manifolds are way easier. You would just take 270 and you just put a line of splitters. It would look like our coal generator does. You just put a line of splitters and it would split all the way down the line. The problem is especially initially, it takes a sec to get this. If the line comes in over here, it takes a while for this last part of the line to get the amount it needs. So I like load balancing. And that's what this looks like. So I start with 270 and then I take a splitter and I split it and it's 135, 135. Well, that's 15 away from being 150, which splits evenly to 275 smelters. And if you know, my smelters are overclocked, so they take 75. So I want to achieve 75 getting in on these buildings. So I would like to get 150. So if I split this in 2, all I need is 15. And that's relatively easy to get from 270 because you get 270, split it 3 ways, and you get a 90. Split it again 3 ways, you get 30. And so I'm taking 90 from this last line, and I'm splitting it into 30. And each of these 30s go into these other production lines and split to 15. So these now 6 135 belts get 15 each, making them 150. So these all split evenly into this. And then up here, because I have one smelter that's not overclocked, it only takes 30. I do another triple split here, and this 30 goes into a smelter all by itself, and the rest of it gets merged to be 150. Because this is 90 and then plus two 30s, and you'll get 150. I guess there could have been a different way to do this, and there's obviously going to be a lot of different ways to do this, but this is the way I did it. And then obviously you're not only splitting things as they go in, but you split things as they come out. I know that my iron plates need a total of 330. So I want to get some of these lines to go to my iron plates in good ways. So if I take, this would work nice if I can get 150 on a belt, because then it would just split in half to go into those 2 machines. So here's 150 to iron plates. And then up here, we got another 150 coming out and a 30 coming out. So 150, 150, and 30. And so this is what planning for lines looks like. It's about doing different splits and merges to get the exact amount of production into one place. This is, I'll say this takes some practice. This is definitely not as simple as this. I'll say this too, most of this can be avoided if you do manifolds. And honestly, if you don't want to do manifolds, it's way easier, and you don't have to worry about all this baloney. So, this is just for people that like to do the load balancing. Yeah. But yeah, this is, I wanted to show y'all this before I take y'all into the starter factory and turn it on, because I want y'all to understand what I'm going to be looking for and what you should be looking for when you start your factories. And make sure that you've properly, really, we're just checking stuff. So we're going to do that in the next episode. I think that's really all I wanted to show you. I'm going to link this in the description. This whole spreadsheet, all this. By the way, I have this here because this gives this tells the spreadsheet here what power each machine has. So by having these machines here, it tells them how much that power cost. So, but yeah, if you have any questions too about the spreadsheet, throw one in the comments. Maybe you can get in my Discord and ask a question. I don't get into Discord a ton, but I'm more than happy to answer questions. So wherever you can reach me, I can help you with this spreadsheet. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of the Pioneer Orientation and Optimization program. Let's get back to the factory and get it started.
Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you, subscribe.